Last thing on the show yesterday, I told you that I'll be having a co-host this morning. And the co-host is taller than me. But I have two co-hosts this morning. One of them is taller than me and one of them is short. Is he taller than me? Is he taller than me? We're going to find out. He is. He is. Maybe by about this. We want to say a special welcome to the to the microphones of Hits 92 FM and the Sports Explosion. The Reggae Boyz head coach, Mr. Hallgrimsson.
Oh, thank you very much.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, correct.
Correcto. And of course his assistant, Mr. John Wall.
Yeah, you got that right.
I got that one right. That's one of the speech basic. All right, coach. I've been wanting to do this for the longest while. Welcome again to Hits 92 FM. The Sports Explosion is the biggest party show on radio. I think you realize that after the first 5 minutes, right?
Yeah. In the pre-show, yeah.
In the pre-show,
you did.
Yes. All right. So you came here initially September 2022.
Mm-hmm.
You did the game against Argentina, but you were not officially the Reggae Boyz head coach until January of 2023.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Correct, yeah.
All right. But all of that was building up to these upcoming moments now. I think the mandate was to try and qualify the team for the 2026 World Cup.
Yeah, that's the big task. That's where we have been looking at all the time to try to build a good squad, not only to qualify for the World Cup, but to do well once we are in the World Cup, and then from 2026 and on, we would have a team and a setup that will help Jamaica to qualify for the World Cup in 2030 and so on and so on. So that is the aim, but development takes time. You know.
Okay.
That.
Yeah. Okay. I was trying to build up to the journey to the ultimate destination beginning on Thursday, but the way you kind of deflated that point now, it's not just about.
Sorry about that. I'm taking over the show.
Yeah, man. You're my co-host. You can do that. So it's not just about trying to qualify for this World Cup, but you're thinking about subsequent a long-term kind of meant to maintain that kind of presence in regional and world football.
Yeah. We're thinking more than just one game at a time. We're thinking ahead. We're thinking about the youth, the players that will be ready in 2026 and then to 2030. So we are planning everything that we can, all the things that we can improve in Jamaican football.
All right, so that journey begins officially on Thursday, with a game against Dominican Republic. Not the strongest team in the region. A little bit of pressure because you're going to be expected to win. You're going to be expected to impress. Because it's all come down to this. Are you ready? Is the team ready for the assignment at hand?
Yeah, I think we've been preparing for this one for a long time. Honestly, it's always a difficult window. The June window for all national team coaches. It's a long season for most of the players, and June when they have off for their teams, they like to have off time.
Yeah,
we are asking them to, after their long season, which is probably 10-11 months, to stay 1.5 months with Jamaica after the season. That's tricky. And then we have 2023, we went to the Gold Cup. 2024, we are in Copa America. 2025, we're again in the Gold Cup. And then is 2026 is the World Cup. So we are basically asking our players to take their holidays away for the 4 years in a row and play for Jamaica in the summer window. That is tough to ask for the players, and that's a sacrifice for the players, and should be respected that they are willing to do that. So it's tough, but also the clubs. If you have a tiny injury, the clubs always want the players to do whatever is necessary to do at the end of the season, so they will be fresh when there's a pre-season coming up in July, August.
One of the concerns of the fans is that we are like 5 days away now, 5, 6, maybe 5 days, 6 days, and we haven't yet gotten the list of names who will be donning the national colours on Thursday. The squad.
I can
understand that you have the squad with you
there. No, we've had probably it's the most difficult squad we have selected. It's been a lot of things that have kind of melted to that we haven't been able to release the squad because we don't want to release the squad unless we are pretty sure that everybody is available that we select.
Yes.
So we have of course selected the squad a long time ago, but then we have needed to make some changes on that one. So I think we will release it today, sometime today.
What about now?
Let's see as a program.
This is a perfect platform.
Yeah, if I know you correctly, you probably squeeze out something from me, and that's probably the purpose of
this interview.
Yeah. And to have a national team coach for an hour in a radio show, I've never heard that before. So
I have to answer this, coach.
But we have. That's our
yes.
to answer, to finish the answering the questions.
Yes.
You asked is that we have normally done the presentation of our squad a week prior to the games.
Okay.
So we are not so far away from our norm.
Oh, okay. I have to ask you this one: the status of Leon Bailey. Will he be a part of the squad?
No, Leon is unavailable for this camp and Copa America. It's a shame for us, but he has already made his platform. Expressed why, and is all respectful between us, the coaching staff, and him, and no issues between us. It's something that he decided to do, and he has already explained why. No need to go into that. And I just hope that his decision will be something that we can use to improve things. He is doing it because he is unhappy with some things in the setup, etc. And I hope the sacrifice he is making now, if I look at it from his angle, he is kind of sacrificing himself to make a point. So hopefully that at least can lead to some improvements in the future. So it limits our chances maybe because he has for sure been, he's by far been the best Jamaican player. If you look at statistics in goal scoring and in assists in the best league in the world, so it limits our chances, of course. But I hope this will be a beneficial thing in the long run for Jamaica, because people will talk, and this will be an issue that we need to just address.
Did you try to convince him to change his mind to say this?
Yeah, we selected him and I had a talk with him, but honestly, if I want to finish this one, he had already talked to me 2 camps ago and 3 camps ago, saying that he's thinking about stepping out for a bit.
He was angry at the time because of the suspension, and maybe after being.
No, honestly, it was not.
Oh.
Because he accepted he did a mistake. He accepted that. He took responsibility for that, and that was not the issue. So, no, I just hope that. Everybody has said what they wanted to say in this matter, and I just hope it leads to something good.
Any new players in the squad? Any players who would be new?
What do you call new players?
Who never played for Jamaica before?
Yeah, who have never played for the first team before. Yes, it's some
first team.
Yeah, so it's it's some young players. Some players that did really well in the JPL league.
There you go. I was going there.
Yeah, we're going there. Okay.
Yeah,
so I'll wait for your question.
I can call him. Will Kaim Dixon be one of them?
Kaim Dixon is one of them. Yes. So you're starting. You write one.
I have one name.
Yeah, Kaim Dixon is one of them. I think he did really, really well when we called him up for the Nations League. Humble, honest guy, hardworking. And he's one that for sure will in the good environment he will become a good professional player for Jamaica in the future. But yeah, he is in the squad.
We don't want to pull too many names from you, but just tell us how many other local based players you have in the squad. Coach John Wall, just while coach he counts, he's trying to count the amount of local based players. You're an integral member of the coaching staff. I want to ask you specifically about the Domrep team. What do you have in terms of data analytics on the Domrep team? How strong is that team? How much of a challenge will it be?
Well, they've been recruiting quite some bit in the past year or two, I would say so. And in all honesty, they're better than their FIFA ranking. Just to be fair to them, and usually it takes some time before it becomes black and white to show that. But I would say overall, without giving away too much, is probably looking at the past 10 to 15 games of Domrep and seeing the evolution of that team, plus main hitting points, what they're good at, and obviously frailties too. But overall, that's been a shared process with the staff leading up to this, with obviously Heimer leading that. But I would say that process leading up to it and making a good stew out of a process, I think we're there, and then honestly know our priorities ahead of that game, and we know how little we need to talk about it. It's more about when it comes to national teams, it's more about the less you say
and the more you do,
the better it is. So it's kind of that.
So based on what you know of them and what you know of what we have in the Jamaican camp, are you confident we can take care of business emphatically?
I have to be confident in every sort of way whenever you are dressed in Jamaican colors. Am I not? So,
and you are decked out in the Jamaican colors, though, just for the record.
Yeah, of course. And I have a very Jamaican haircut too. Right?
And a very Jamaican name as well. I was saying that to you off air. John, can you imagine?
Yeah.
A Swedish guy coaching football in Jamaica, and his name is John.
Yeah. Well, it could have been worse, right? So that's how it is.
Yes.
No, but in all honesty, it's more about always to punch above your weight, and at the same time trying to embrace being the favorite.
Yes.
I think it's kind of like doing that, and based on up till now, almost 2 years now, that's kind of like where it's not always been being, I shouldn't say inferior, but not being the favorite, so we can punch that way too.
Okay.
But at the same time, being the favorite and do the job. But whatever it comes down to is do your job.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
And if we do our job, we should take care of business. Yeah.
Whatever you say, but it's not coming out of my mouth. So for me, it's more about doing the job.
Yeah.
I think since they hired the new coach, Gabriel Nevlev, he's done a good job. He likes the team. He likes the players who have good ball possession. So he's a ball possessing kind of coach, and he's recruited that kind of players, and he's using that kind of players, and they have a very good young players as well. I think they qualified for the Olympics for the under 21. So they have a really good crop of players. And it will be a tough opponent, really a tough opponent, and we need all the support that we can have on the National Stadium.
Yes,
on the 6th.
I'm glad you went there, Coach, because this is a journey now, and the Reggae Boyz will need what we call the 12th man. We need the support. I'm going to ask you a very, I won't call it an unpopular question, but it's a frequently asked question and a frequently made reference. Jamaica qualified for the Senior Men's World Cup once in our football history. That famous 1998 qualification. And inevitably, you can't get away from the comparison of that journey to this journey. Obviously, the dynamics have changed. But there's one element of that journey that some of us who we were there, we think we need to get that reconnection with the fans. It was unbelievable along that journey, and I think we're struggling to get back that connection with the fans. We were talking off here. You guys have never seen a full national stadium. That's a shame.
No, not since we came.
No, that's a shame. And we need to try and get that done for this campaign.
Yeah. And it's probably I was with Iceland when we qualified for the Euros for the first time and the World Cup for the first time.
Yes.
To do something for the first time is always special. It's difficult to replicate, and your first kiss is always the best one, and you remember that one.
Yes, man.
So it's difficult
to good or bad,
you can never repeat the first kiss.
Yes.
So no, that is something that in the memories of Jamaicans, probably
Yes.
that's going to stick forever.
And every national coach that comes here will have that almost like a shadow.
Yeah,
over it.
but it's good that once you've done it, you can never say we cannot do it. Once you've done it, you can never say again we cannot do it because you have done it. So that is a good thing to know, that if you have done it once, you can do it again, and that is our plan now.
But the dynamics are completely different though.
Yeah, football has changed since 1998 a big time.
You finished counting up the local base players? How many?
Yeah, I counted 6.
6?
6 JPL players in this
6
squad.
what's how many? What's the number? of the squad? My God, I'm
First time I've seen you lost for words
I
now.
lost a bet because I was betting someone that we're not going to get more than 2. We have 6.
I have 6, yes.
Yeah, brilliant. What's the squad is it? 27?
24 players, 25 players.
And just for clarity, this squad is the squad to play the first 2 qualifiers, and
Yeah, then we have another squad announced after these 2 qualifiers for the Copa America.
okay, so this squad is for the 2 qualifiers, and then another squad
Yeah,
for the Copa. So, okay, so 6 local based players.
yeah.
All right, we go for a quick break on the Sports Explosion. We'll be back in a jiffy. People, at 9:30, we're going to entertain a few calls to the coach, and please make your presentation very concise and short. Maybe ask the coach a question or 2, and then we get some reaction from the coach. 920-2053, 920-6441. At 9:30, we take a few calls. Superbox, Sports Explosion, Super.
Money tight, want more value.
Richard Ticker catch up myself.
Justice to catch up users.
Yeah!
Justice.
Hey! What the problem? I'm gonna catch up my answer. Problem solved. Chance to be able to catch up. What follow me, look up. Don't joke with chance to be able to catch up. Richard Ticker and more affordable. Hey, Pioneer Meat Products, there ya! And guess what? Big things are gone with the jerk sausage and pork chops for restaurants. The streaky bacon, chicken franks, chicken slices, beef burgers, not to mention the fully cooked, warm and glazed hams ready to eat. Ooh, flavor to savor. Call 968-9213 or visit your local supermarket. Pioneer Meat Products, have some today. Nice.
Money tight, want more value.
Richard Ticker catch up myself.
Justice to catch up users.
Yeah!
Justice.
Hey! What the problem? I'm gonna catch up my answer. Problem solved. Chance to be able to catch up. What follow me, look up. Don't joke with chance to be able to catch up. Richard Ticker and more affordable.
Triple world champion Noah Lyles, Olympic champion Hansel Parchment, and world 400-meter gold medalist Antonio Watson are just part of a glitzy lineup for the Racers Grand Prix on Saturday, June 1. And live and exclusive coverage will be on TVJ, TVJSN, and One Spot Media, with radio coverage on Hits 92 FM. Watch Jamaica's rising star Oblique Seville clash Lyles and Zarnell Hughes in a rematch of the World Championships final. Come see Hansel Parchment battle American speedster Trey Cunningham and Jamaican talent Tyler Mason in the 110-meter hurdles. And don't miss Olympic bronze medalist Megan Tapper go head-to-head with world indoor record holder Devine Charlton and starlet Akira Nugent in the women's event. Jaden Hibbert and Julian Alfred carry the hopes of the next generation of stars who will also be on show at the meet. It's live and exclusive coverage of the Racers Grand Prix, Saturday, June 1 on TVJ, TVJ Sports Network, and One Spot Media, with radio coverage on Hits 92 FM.
Hey there! Sunday morning morning radio will never be the same again when you listen to Morning Praise with me, The Essence, on Hits 92 FM from 5 to 9 a.m. Haven't heard your favorite reggae gospel song lately? Request it. Need prayer? Text or call in. Want to give a greeting? Log on to the roll call. So tune in as we lift our praise to God every Sunday 5 to 9 a.m. on Morning Praise with your girl The Essence on Hits 92 FM.
Welcome back to the Sports Exposure. We're live on Hits 92 FM. The Maverick in the building. Coach Hallgrimsson and assistant coach John Wall in the building again. We're talking Reggae Boyz. We're talking the big international weekend. Well, not weekend. International window coming up. Dom Rep in the first game on Thursday. And who is the second game?
Dominica.
It's a little bit confusing. Dominica and Dom Rep. In the break, our producer said people are inquiring about Mason Greenwood. We saw some fake stuff came out a couple of weeks ago about him being invited. What's the status of Mason Greenwood as it relates to the Reggae Boyz?
Well, he's like, I would say, many other players thinking about joining Jamaica, but stories like that don't help. So we must be careful and respectful of the process that is needed for these players to have their passports, etc. And also just for their personal things. They all have contracts. They all have clubs to sign for, etc. So he and is like probably many others thinking that's an option to do this. And we need to be professional.
Have we made an approach?
Yeah, I've had contact with him as many others. And like I said, I've never hidden that. There's a lot of good players that want to join this current crop of players. And hopefully within the nearest future we will see some good players, but it's all down to if we need them, number one. And it's also, their ambition to do it. And it has to go hand in hand. We need to also make an environment that is pleasant to join. That is one of our tasks, that once these players from the highest level want to come here, we must upgrade everything around the setup for the national team, because there's no use having players here if they feel it's not good enough. So this is one thing, and we need to understand that here in Jamaica as well. If we are calling in players, let's say players like Leon or all these players, Pinnock and
Bobby Reid and
Bobby
Antonio.
Reid, so they are used to certain kind of environment all the time.
Yes.
So we need to step up our environment, otherwise it will be demotivating coming to Jamaica and play for Jamaica if we cannot at least get close to their environment. And
I think that's a lot of what Leon was saying in his outburst.
Yeah, so I share some of his opinions on all of this, and just imagine the stadium, the grass that the players are playing on is far below par what they are used to even train on. I'm not even talking about the stadiums they play in Europe and US. Just the training ground are much better than the national stadium. I'm not even going to go into all the other pitches that the JPL players need to play on.
Oh dear.
So we need to be careful that when they come, they get motivated to play for us. So it's all the setup needs to improve, because actually when they come and play in bad surfaces, we are playing to the advantage of our opponents. In this case, they are used to these kind of environment. So we cannot do that. We must have an advantage playing at home.
Wow. You mentioned the JPL a while ago, Coach. I must ask you this. A couple of callers to the show during the JPL playoffs. So we had some bumper crowds. It was great excitement, a great spectacle. But the head coach of the national team
was not there.
Was nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
There was a void there. We saw your assistant.
Yeah.
He was all over the television screen. There was no coach Hallgrimsson.
No, that's also kind of our job. We cannot be everywhere at the same time. So both Meron Gordon, who is assistant coach, and John Wall was on that game. I surely wanted to be here because it's my hometown club, Mount Pleasant. So
Yes.
So no, I've seen a lot of games, Mount Pleasant games, because normally it's a double header there. So
Right.
Until April, we did a lot of camps. I saw a lot of games, or I saw a lot of games. But it was always decided that I needed to be in Europe and back home in Iceland in May.
Right.
So
Okay.
then it was the job of Meron Gordon to follow every game in the JPL League until the end of the season. And what a good game it was.
Yeah.
And congratulations to
Cavaliers,
Cavaliers and their season.
Yes.
So no, it was a shame not to be there. I wish I could have been there, but I have other obligations. But having two assistant coaches, probably enough. But I understand, and I wanted to be there for sure, but I couldn't.
Okay. Coach Wall, a little bit about your particular role with the entire setup. You were once the coach of the national under-20 team. You have a specific portfolio to do with youth development. Expound it on it a little bit.
Correct. I'm going to zoom out a bit just to give a little bit of a background to that. It's called TDS, Talent Development Scheme, and it's actually from FIFA that's initiated when Arsène Wenger, who's the head of chief of football for FIFA, realized they made a big, huge research paper, and it's obviously open publicly, what kind of a disparity it is between players in Europe, the frequency of training, good coaches, and etc. So it's
facilities.
Facilities. It is support functions. It's nutrition. It's everything. So because of that, FIFA has initiated to actually give lesser environments more support, and it's almost like more based on the Clairefontaine, which is the national academy of the French Football Federation. So in order to connect and make it the selected best players, train with the best coaches as much as possible. So we've started that. Stéphane Auvray is the FIFA talent coach who's here, because that's a separate project, but they're kind of co-joint anyhow. So it's more about, right now the basis is Kingston and the three surrounding parishes, I would say. That's kind of the center, and we call it the National Academy, even though we want to connect it to the regional centers too. So we connect outside.
Any kind of specific age group?
12 to 16 is the ages, and it's for both boys and girls. But we try to, instead of going against the school system, we're trying to build around it. Even though we would love to have the players there 10 to 11 months. And I would say that's kind of like the biggest drop off that you have, Jamaica versus the world, I would say.
Yes.
3 months at best of competitive football.
Not enough.
Versus 10 months.
Yeah, not enough.
And that's what hits on a global scale. And that's one of the reasons why Jamaica fails to live up to its potential.
In terms of more kids matriculating to senior success, you mean?
Yeah, instead of having it such a big win at all costs kind of thing, instead of taking the longer perspective, development.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this for this 12-year-old, so how they would look like when they're 20.
Right.
That kind of perspective.
Long term.
Yeah, it's finite thinking as it is right now versus infinite thinking.
But it's something that you have to keep going for it to be effective too.
Yeah,
You can start, and if you leave next year, it breaks down right there.
but everything that I'm doing is not for being a John Wall kind of thing. It's more it's structure and leaving something behind. I think the mantra stolen from the New Blacks or the All Blacks, leave your shirt in a better place, is kind of soothing.
And it is development, all development. You invest now in the future, so you cannot expect results come in
Yeah.
when you invest in development. That is a long-term thinking.
Coach, we're going to take have some interaction shortly. 920-2053, 920-6441. I just wanted to ask you a little bit about your formation and your philosophy with the national team. Do you have, do you have a fixed way that you approach each game, or you're flexible in terms of the way Jamaica plays?
No, we are flexible. We look at our opponents, but there are some. I would say there are some. What do you say in English?
Some core.
Yes.
Key principles.
There are some principles. Sorry,
Core
there's some principles we always use every game.
Yes.
And when you have a national team, you must have core principles.
Yes.
In defense, in attack, because you only have maybe 2 training sessions.
Right.
And then you play a game, or 3 training sessions at the most, and then you have a game. And you have to take into account the players come to you in the national team, and they stay a week and then go 3-4 months.
They don't
to
just see them again.
and they do totally different things. They play totally different formations, setups, and maybe their principles in the clubs are different. So you always have to, or you always must have principles that you always have the same, because you cannot change system and formations game by game.
One example of the one of the principles, right? Where you play 3 at the back, or you play.
Yeah. So formation is not principles.
Okay.
So formations is totally different things.
Right.
So for example, in the Nations League, we played 3 at the back or 5 at the back,
Right.
however you look at it.
Yeah.
And that was the first time we've done that. But it takes time to change from 4 at the back to 5 at the back.
Right.
But we thought the opponents, US and Panama, were that good. We needed to be a little bit more compact in defense against these good teams. So we at least now have 2 formations. 2 formations that we are using and have been using, so we can at least change between them in the long run. Of course, we will have more formations, but this is something you cannot just say to the players, we're going to play this system and everything will be okay. So, and what we have done, probably that has not been for a long time for Jamaica. We have had stability in our squad.
Yep.
So what happens?
Definitely.
So what happens when you have stability in the squad? There will be connections between the players themselves, because they constantly play with each other with the same principles. So that will, in the end, in the long run, that will help the team to play better. But number one, it's difficult for a national team coach to have 2 sessions and to implement a lot of changes in 2 sessions. That's probably is going to fail.
Yeah.
So you need to have something that you always
continuity.
Yeah, continuity in principles.
Yeah.
And then you can tweak the formation and you can tweak the players.
Understood.
So that is how we work.
Fully. Okay, we go to our phones now. We have our first caller online, who's Boxwood.
Yeah, well going.
Welcome to the show, boss. Coach Hallgrimsson, Coach Wall, the Maverick, and the silent Preston is in the house as well. Sorry, not silent. Coach. Simon, he's here, but he's silent. Yes.
Pick up yourself, Simon.
Yes, sir.
Coach, 2 quick questions and 1 observation. First of all, congratulations on always being at Mount Pleasant Games. We love to see you, Joshua. Big up yourself.
I shouldn't have said it before, but it's the truth.
Nah, man, we see you all the while, man. We just, you know, as Jamaican, we just allow you to do your thing when I really bum rush the thing. But, quick question. How much input does the technical committee have in team selection?
None.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
In terms of recommending players, absolutely not.
Yeah, and now we have now a pretty good database, which was absent when we came. So we have spent a lot of time building our database for the first team, and John Wall has done the same for the youth teams as well. So that is something. Like John said before, to leave your shirt in a better place. Now, for the next coach who will come in for Jamaica, he will have this database, so he will not need help from an outsider to tell him what players are available, etc. So that has been probably my most time-consuming thing is to build this database about all the players in the Jamaican league, all the players playing abroad, young players coming up, and then possible players that could play for Jamaica. So the next coach that will come in, he will have this because it's already owned by the JFF, and that will make it easier. So when I came as an Icelander, didn't know much about the Jamaican national team, so that was the toughest thing to need to ask for assistance about how is this player, and Meron Gordon has been fantastic in helping us, introducing us to all the players that are possible to play for Jamaica.
Okay, sounds good. The next question quickly is in terms of the local players that you have your radar on, that you've called into the team from time to time, especially when our international players are not available, when our best players are not available. How much rapport, what's the rapport with their club coaches? And is there any form of a system or any kind of a blueprint that you have, that you talk to these coaches as to how you would like to use the players and kind of get some kind of synergy in how the club use those players?
Yeah, so in January, February, and March, I traveled all the parishes, had meetings with the heads of football in our parishes, and explained our principles. That's one. So at least they would know what are our principles. And then it's the question if they want to use them or not in their clubs. And we talked about things like defense. We had some courses in how to defend, etc. So we have certain ways of doing that. So yeah, we have interaction with the clubs.
I'm talking more specific though, of course. Like for example,
so
I'm
a special
sure.
player.
Yes, specific players. Like you'd have a player at Mount Pleasant, for example, and that you call into the team from time to time. But we would be watching Mount Pleasant play, and he would be on the bench, and you know that kind of frustrating to us, and it's confusing. And sometimes we see that player, for example, being used in a little different way than you use him, and I cannot imagine that augurs well for the players' role in the national team. That's all I was talking about. I will get off real quickly, but before I go, I want to congratulate you on shutting us up about Latibodir. In the Nations League, those two games, having him in the back was it's like a different player. Seeing that guy in playing that CDM role, I have headache. But those last two games,
Boxwood should congratulate me for suggesting to Damian Lowe that he gets in that central midfield. That's what you should be congratulating me for.
Well, I talk to you all the time. I never get audience with the coach. So once again, coach, that's all I have.
All right, Boxwood.
Good luck going forward.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks a lot, Boxwood. Sterling King, no Eric King. Morning, Sterling King.
Sir Tracy, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. John, well, good morning, sir.
Morning.
Simon Preston, big up, you know.
Big up. Yeah.
Mr. Hallgrimsson, good morning, sir.
Morning.
First, I must say, next week Thursday, definitely I'll be at the game.
Yep.
And I think I'll bring a few friends with me.
We'll all be there, bro. We'll all be there. We invite all Jamaica to be there.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the system that they played in the Nation League, I must say.
Yeah.
But based on
this guy is called Three at the Back. That's his nickname. He's called Three at the Back.
Yeah. But based on listening to you just now, it's more of a flexibility. So I guess I won't be expecting that system against Dominican next week.
Well, we have 5 games in